What is up, guys? In today's video, we are going over LEGO Star Wars unpopular opinions submitted by my viewers on YouTube and Instagram. Today's video is sponsored by Factor 75. More on them later, but let's get right into the video. So we're going to open it up with this one. I know it's a hot topic right now. P2 Venator Rex for $12.99 is the best thing LEGO's done in a long time. I got a lot of divided opinions about this in my comments. A lot of people hated it and a lot of people loved it. My opinion on it is I think it's really good that LEGO is giving the fans a really sought after character in a very cheap and accessible option. $12.99 for one of the most popular LEGO Star Wars figures of all time is amazing, and there's so many people out there that are young that literally weren't alive when Captain Rex came out. So the fact that they're having their chance to get one is really good, and I think it's a positive. But there is something to be said about LEGO saying that it was originally exclusive. I absolutely hate that. I do think popular characters should be accessible to everybody, but I do think there should be some exclusivity if you're paying $600 for a set. I love that everybody's getting a Captain Rex. I think it's great. Everybody should have a Captain Rex in their collection. But at the same time, LEGO shouldn't be able to say something is exclusive and then double back on that. I think that's completely bogus. LEGO is doing a good job on clones. Now, I would say that this is somewhat of an unpopular opinion right now. I think a lot of people are unhappy with the way clone troopers are being made. It's kind of upsetting because we're getting a lot of good clones being made, but they're just not in the way that we want them to be. Old clone helmets, and he's talking about the OG phase ones here, are the worst of all. I think this is definitely an unpopular opinion. A lot of people love those OG Phase 1 clone helmets. I personally love the helmet slit design that we got in the original Phase 1 and Phase 2s. I would like to see them come back, honestly. And I definitely don't think that they are the worst of all. And I think a lot of people would probably disagree with this. Yoda is the worst minifigure. Why do they keep making him? I don't think Yoda's the worst minifigure. I definitely think that this is somewhat an unpopular of an opinion. They keep making him because he's such a popular character. Those OG sequel figures are like the staple of Star Wars, and they're gonna keep making him. Yoda is in every era of Star Wars. There's almost an excuse to make him every year. Army building is a waste of money unless it's part of a bigger mock. Base plates full of identical figures is not it. You know what? I can somewhat agree with this. I would say... But you do have a valid point. I would say this is an unpopular opinion, though. I personally think having a lot of clone troopers just on a base plate isn't the best use of them. I think if you have a lot, you should build something to display them and put them in action. I think the current Phase 2 helmets are the best we've ever seen. I would highly disagree with that, and I think that this is an unpopular opinion. Saying they're good is like a fair opinion, but saying they're the best is, in my opinion, not true. I think a lot of people would disagree with that, but I like how they got rid of the cloth waist capes. To me, they didn't look good, but I do like the old plastic ones from 2008. It's so funny because you got a reply saying, please seek help, which I thought was funny. But anyways, I do think that this is a very unpopular opinion. I hate the printed ones. I really do. I have to focus my vision on the legs to determine that is a comma. It just looks like garbage on the legs. It looks like printing soup. It's just splatted on the figure. I don't think it looks good at all. I think having another layer of texture with the cloth and plastic pieces is what makes it. I do like the plastic ones just as much as I like the cloth ones, so that's fine. But the printed ones, they're by far trash. I hate them. Sets being a little smaller are good because then you can fit more on your shelves. Now, this is an unpopular opinion. I personally love the super small sets that people say are overpriced. I really enjoy those. I think that they are the perfect set to have displayed in any workspace or any work setting. Some of my favorite sets and scenes are in these tiny sets that I just cram minifigures into. For example, Dark Trooper Attack. I think that is one that got so much hate, but I think it came with an amazing selection of minifigures, and it gets the job done in displaying a pretty iconic scene from a good show. I love my personal little Dark Trooper Attack that I have set up. I added Moff Gideon and Grogu and Mando to it, and I think it's a really cool look at that scene, and I really like it displayed on my desk. Also, one of my favorite sets is the original Mos Eisley Cantina with Greedo. It's one of the tiniest sets, but it fits well on a desk, and you have the dewback and the speeder, and you can put them in different spaces, and they work. So I really do like the smaller stuff, but I do think a lot of people would disagree. The sequel sets are good. It's just the films that ruin them. I think that this is definitely somewhat of an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people just hate the sequel stuff all to begin with. And I mean, rightfully so. If you dislike a movie, you're not going to want to buy the vehicles and characters from that movie. You don't really care. It's not cool to you. You don't enjoy it. You don't want to see it in your room or on your shelves. But a lot of the sequel sets are pretty cool. The big walker that they made, yeah, that's really cool. It's similar to an AT-AT, but cool set. There's a few other good sets in the sequels, like Kylo Ren's shuttle, I think is great. But yeah, I I do think people just dislike the material. More minifig detailing slash printing is not better. Sometimes it's too much. I think that this has become an unpopular opinion, and I fully agree. I know it's a divided opinion. Some people agree and disagree, but I fully agree. I don't think every minifigure should have arm printing. I don't think every minifigure needs leg printing. I think back printing is 9 times out of 10 useless. If a minifigure has a cape, I don't care what his back looks like. And I do agree, more printing is not always better. They should have made sets to order so we can get the OG sets still. I don't really know how people think of this, but in my opinion, in terms of collecting, there needs to be some kind of exclusivity with it, right? Lego sets have a shelf life of 1 to 2 years usually. If you could just go online and buy any Lego set that was ever made, Lego just wouldn't be as desirable. It's good and bad at the same time that things are exclusive because it makes them desirable, but at the same time, it makes them less accessible. But that's where the desire comes from. So I personally disagree with this. I think that this is probably a popular opinion, I would say. People probably want Lego to be made like infinitely, but in my opinion, I disagree with that. I hate building. I just want to play with them, dog. Dude, I kind of agree. Like, there's some sets where I don't feel like ever building and they just sit there, but I would love to have them displayed, but it's like, I don't feel like devoting hours to this today. Building is a good experience though. I think that this is unpopular. A lot of people do enjoy the building process. I personally think the animated style P1 clones are a little better than the realistic clones. This is an unpopular opinion and I fully agree with it. I think the animated style Clone Wars clones are some of the best clone troopers we've gotten. I don't know what it is about them. You can make fun of the faces all you want, but there's just something about that helmet mold that I think is just the perfect Lego clone. I don't think it's the most realistic, but it just scratches my head right, man. It's just the perfect look for like a Lego minifigure in my opinion. I just think it looks perfect. And why I think they're the best is because one, you got them in so many sets. They were in like 8 or 9 sets, so it was really easy to army build them. 2, you got a great assortment of leading clone troopers. You could just build an awesome clone army and they all look the same. It was great. I just think that those clone troopers were delicious. And speaking of delicious, that brings us to today's video sponsor, Factor 75. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep. Treat yourself to restaurant quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. While also keeping kitchen time to a minimum, Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up to do. As someone who is busy day and night but really values fitness and what I put into my body, it can be a real challenge to fit good nutritious meals into my schedule. These Factor meals are ready in only 2 minutes and have significantly cut down grocery time, meaning I can spend more time building Lego. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code STUDSTASH50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code STUDSTASH50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Huge thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk about helmet holes. The hate around helmet holes is mind-blowing. I don't understand why so many people hate helmet holes. Personally, I love them. The helmet holes thing is obviously completely divided and there's pros and cons to each kind of argument. Like, for one, I love the helmet holes in the newer figures because you get to use the accessories that were made a decade ago. It is really cool that you get to use all your old Clone Trooper accessories and swap them in and out between both generations. I love that. Now, with that being said, the helmet holes on the newer style just look bad. They're in a bad position. Like, factually, they are not in a good looking position. You look at the Clone Trooper on the side and they are not integrated well. The OG phase 1s were integrated really well. It made sense. It looked good. It didn't take away from the figure. I think that the current phase 2s don't look good the way they implement the visors and stuff. Now, would I rather have them use the accessories than not? Yes. Would I like it to have been done in a more aesthetically pleasing way? Yes. I can't have both of those. I get it. Obviously, it's a meme now, like helmet holes, like, oh my gosh. But there's truth to both sides of the argument. It's kind of impressive that they were able to integrate the old style with the new one in terms of accessories. With that being said, it doesn't look as good as I think as it could be. The new Kestis minifigure is just okay. It needs a poncho. I fully agree. People are really excited about the Kestis minifigure, and they should be, but I do think it's not even close to being the best anniversary minifigure that we got this year. The Kestis minifigure, I think, needs a poncho. It's just disappointing to me that he didn't come with one. Doesn't mean it's a bad figure, but I really think they dropped the ball with that, and it's not something people are talking about. Helmet sets and dioramas are the most overrated Star Wars sets ever. They play off the 18+ marketing to way overprice the sets. The only thing worse is 4+ sets. Now, I would say that this is definitely definitely a very unpopular opinion, but there is a lot of truth in this. I somewhat agree with it. I've kind of said previously, like, the helmets and dioramas is just a way for LEGO to put things in a glassy black box and overcharge you for it. Now, I still love the sets. I'm still gonna buy them. I don't think it's that crazy of a price, but that's what a lot of people think, is that they're overcharging for these things. And there's something to be said about just about taking something, putting it in a black box, and then pushing it out to 18 plus and charging more for it. That seems like what they're doing sometimes. Now, I love the helmets, I love the dioramas, but you do have somewhat of a point here. New sets aren't that overpriced. I kind of agree. Like, there's not many sets that come out where I'm like, that is way too expensive. If you don't have a lot of money to splurge on LEGO, I totally get it. LEGO is expensive as it is, but I think if you compare things to prices in the past and you just adjust them to inflation, you'll see that it's not that big of a difference. Like, it's really not in some cases. This is an unpopular opinion because people don't wait around for deals. I think the issue with things being overpriced is that people want it day one. And if you want it day one, you're paying that full price. If you wait a year down the line and you shop and you wait for these good deals and you wait for all these bonus sales and everything, LEGO really is not too expensive. You can really work your way around some things. LEGO does listen to its fans when they aren't constantly whining. Just look at battle packs. We've gotten proper blasters now instead of stud shooters. That was a huge upgraded and nobody even spoke about it. I definitely think this is an unpopular opinion. A lot of people like to say that LEGO isn't listening at all. I do think we're a bit spoiled. If you look back at the past 2 years and just kind of check the boxes of things that we've wanted and gotten, we wanted a phase 2 Cody and we got it. You might not like the shape of it and the design of it, but we got it. 501st battle pack, we got it. We want a Jedi Bob Starfighter, we're getting it. We are getting things that we want. It's just not really in the style and price that we want. LEGO Pirates is better than every other LEGO theme, including Star Wars. This ain't even a hot take, it's just facts. I think this is an unpopular opinion, but I somewhat agree. I love the LEGO pirate stuff. I would love to collect the vintage pirate stuff in another life, but I don't have the room right now, and I don't think my wallet can take collecting another theme that intensely. LEGO Hobbit / Lord of the Ring is better than LEGO Star Wars. If you have seen sets like Rivendell and Barad-dûr, I am just simply blown away by how nice those sets look. They deliver well, and they're really not that expensive for the price. I look at Rivendell, and I say, why can't they do that for like a Naboo palace? That would be such a cool set. Imagine a Naboo palace, similar kind of style as the Lego Rivendell set. People would buy it immediately, but they just don't do that for Star Wars. With Star Wars, they don't really give us those big scenes and those big buildings that we kind of want. The Barad-dûr set that's coming out is incredible. Like, I think that's an amazing deal for that price, and that's the retail price. Star Wars is still my pride and joy, and I love it. I'm not gonna stop wasting my money on it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all these submissions. I got over 100 between my Instagram and YouTube, and I tried to include ones that made sense. If you guys enjoyed this style of video, let me know what other kind of discussion topics you'd like me to cover. Leave some comments down below. Maybe I'll make a video on one. And as always, thank you guys for watching.